welcome to Whistle Stop Theatre, your weekly review podcast where we give you a theatre review before the whistle blows. Hi, I'm Faith.
I'm Jensen.
This is Elias. I'm Karis.
And I'm Casper.
I'm, first of all, really glad that we all managed to find a time that worked for us.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so nice to see you, Elias. I hope you're doing all right.
Fantastic.
So today we're going to be reviewing Tokyo Rose by Burnt Lemon Theatre Company, which we saw in the Birmingham Hippodrome. Nice. So, let's start with Burnt Lemon Theatre. They were founded by Cara Baldwin and Hannah Benson. I believe Cara Baldwin was actually in the performance of Tokyo Rose.
Really?
Man.
Who was
I
she?
think so. I don't remember.
She was just in it.
She was
It's
in
fine.
there.
So they graduated from East 15 and then made their company. They took Tokyo Rose to the Edinburgh Fringe in 2019
Wow.
and won some awards there as well.
As they should.
That's really,
They
quite,
should.
that's really quite recent, though.
Yeah, very
Oh,
recent.
it's a very recent show. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tokyo Rose had a successful run in the New Diorama Theatre, and then it made its mid-scale debut in the Southwark Playhouse in 2021, this year, and then obviously later went on to the Birmingham Hippodrome, where we saw it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, something that has to be said is we did see a concert version of it because two cast members were ill on the night we went to see it. And for me, this had a huge creative impact on it, namely when it came to movement, because it was very static. And I mean, it's a musical, so you expect dance, you expect all that jazz, you know.
Yeah, when seeing the trailer, it was so movement based, and then we
It looked
didn't
Oh
get to
god,
see
the
it.
trailer was incredible.
There were some incredible moments of physical theatre and dance, which was just perfect, and I felt it could have added so much more depth and just made it far more engaging, because I feel through dance you can express stuff which you can't express vocally or just through acting. It's stuff that you can say through your body.
Yeah.
And another creative element that stood out for me was the use of costume, primarily Iva's hair and how it changed throughout. Because initially, when she was playing her younger self, her hair was in bunches.
The pigtails.
Yeah. And for me, this made her seem far more naive and childish. Whereas in Act 2, when we see a more grown-up version of her hair's down and lightly styled. And I feel this literally represents letting your hair down, accepting yourself for who you are. And in Iva's case, becoming more comfortable with her own identity, being an American citizen with Japanese heritage. This idea of citizenship and identity is also demonstrated hugely through the inclusion of a suitcase, which is seen throughout the entire performance.
We all just went,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you hadn't noticed, the whole time she's on stage, she is with this suitcase, whether she's sat on it or just holding it or it's just somewhere present on stage near her. And
No idea. Did not notice that at all.
I felt it was symbolic of her inability, I was right, inability of being seen as a true American citizen because of her Japanese heritage and racial identity. So she can never truly settle down in America. And this can be said for Japan as well, because of her lack of ability to speak Japanese, which acts as a huge barrier between actually, becoming one with the place you're in, especially in the case of Iva.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely. I mean, first of all, I cannot believe that none of us three, did not notice the suitcase thing. Clearly it was that well woven into the performance, even as a concert version, that we had no idea.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you mentioned identity, because there's a really powerful moment in the beginning of the performance, right at the beginning, when Iva and her father are arguing, and she shouts at him, but I'm not Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember the theatre dropping silent. Like, you could have heard a pin drop at that moment. And it was so poignant because, obviously, we know how hard her father worked for her American citizenship, but he obviously still very much, I suppose part of it comes, he was raised in Japan, right? If I'm correct in that. Comes from that. But still, to hear that from his own daughter, you could sense the tension and the atmosphere and the change of it. But then it made me angrier in the second half when Iva's American citizenship was taken away, because you could tell in that moment how much she truly loved America, how much she felt like an American citizen. And that was just, I don't know, one of those random moments that you just take with you from the performance. And I don't know about any of you probably did as well, but I was doing a lot of research on Iva Toguri's actual life story.
Yeah.
Elias, actually, thank you, Elias, found me a book.
Knowledge.
It's by Yasuhide Kawashima, and it's called The Tokyo Rose Case, Treason on Trial.
Right.
And in it talks about how when Iva passed away in 2006, she was still referred to by like newspaper outlets as Tokyo Rose, even though that was what obviously lost her such a huge part of her young life because she was falsely imprisoned because of that title. And Kawashima talks about how sometimes the law doesn't always render justice. And that's basically what that's about. And going back a little bit and talking about the citizenship, again, second act, so poignant, made me cry. Don't know about anybody else.
Stunning.
We went from the upbeat song like Hot Off the Press, which I was having a wonderful time during that song, first of all.
Great song.
But then you go from that to suddenly the reality, which was her true life story, what actually happened to her. I mean, the whole thing obviously actually happened, but you go from the fun, upbeat musical theatre show that you're watching to this sudden brutal reminder that this is what happened to this woman.
Yeah.
Her life was taken away from her because of the American justice system. And we see her side of the story. We see that she never, ever really committed treason. Yes, she did these broadcasts, but she still loved America. She was still an American citizenship. She was still an American citizen, even. And the academic Emily Roxworthy calls this performative citizenship. In the, she says, citizenship has been officially denied to various radicalised groups and, when conferred, has lacked efficiency in terms of the unequal enforcement of its privileges based on proximity to whiteness. And I've found that was very well reflected in the second act. I don't know about you guys.
Absolutely.
But it was completely shown that the American government's citizenship system is so fickle that at the end of the day it comes down to whether you're white or not.
It's just utterly flawed.
Disgusting, like genuinely. And that was what I took away from it.
So in preparation for this podcast, I read a lot of reviews to sort of build up a picture of the overall critical and public reception. The musical actually received a lot of criticism, particularly about the staging.
No, right? So
We didn't really see. So Alan Hood, writing in What's on Stage, says the cast shuffles on and off aimlessly, and that they unexpectedly launch into full-on dance breaks.
We missed out on so much.
you really wanted. But the academics hated it.
I'm heartbroken.
I think it was perhaps a good thing that we saw a concert version of the play, as although it suffered from this sense of being static, as you mentioned, and as is mentioned by Arifa Akbar in The Guardian. In my opinion, the lack of confusing staging allowed the impact of the story of Tokyo Rose to strike a powerful note with the audience, which I think we all felt.
Definitely.
According to Derva Gongor and Dagmar Strohmeyer, editors of Contextualizing Immigrant and Refugee Resilience, 260 million people were living as foreign-born immigrants worldwide in 2017. So that number will have only gone up,
Yeah.
which is a huge amount. On top of that, they say that the challenges these people face range from loss of social support and status to discrimination, and most importantly in this case, identity confusion.
Right.
There are, however, some issues with Tokyo Rose.
You what?
There was issues around the actor's positioning in terms of lighting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A live orchestra as opposed to a backing track would have brought this piece to life, in my opinion. And it doesn't go into as much depth as I think we might have liked.
Yeah. There were some missing bits. Even I noticed
Yeah.
that, like, you don't find out about Iva's husband, anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's just a highlight.
But does it make it bad?
No,
No,
absolutely
no.
not.
So no, we all see things differently, affected by our lived experience, and I think maybe the fact that I'm half German, half English, and was born and raised in Scotland has had an impact on how I see this. But the thing that stayed with me weeks after the performance was not the issues in the delivery, but the story of Iva Toguri and her struggle with identity and acceptance. I think Tokyo Rose delivered this message in a beautifully inspiring way, discussing today's at times alarming increase of national identity and pride in the context of the past. This is a moving and unifying performance centred on an injustice, and I think we can all agree we would highly recommend seeing it.
Absolutely.
Yes, highly recommend
Yeah.
if you can see it.
By the way, we forgot to film an outro, so thanks for watching, listening. See you next week.
Bye.
Finger?